When I talk about joy, I often say true joy. And what I mean by that, it's not just like plaster on a smile, everything is wonderful. It's that joy that underlies everything. And that is what I believe it can coexist with all the other aspects of life.
Welcome to the Fun and Bliss Show,
where fun is our practice
and bliss is our lifestyle.
I'm Monique.
And I'm Moneeka.
This is a show to help you laugh louder,
dance more often,
savor the silly and sacred alike,
and turn fun into a blissipline,
so we can live lives of more ease, love, prosperity, and joy.
Let's go!
Hi, I'm Monique, and I am the Chief Fun Officer here at Fun Bliss.
We've got new titles.
Who are you?
I am Moneeka, and I'm the Chief Bliss Officer at Fun and Bliss. Okay, you guys are the first to hear it. Welcome to the show.
I put it on my LinkedIn. It's actually on my LinkedIn. I'm the
That's
Chief
awesome.
Fun Officer and co-founder of Fun and Bliss. So it's official, y'all. So, Moneeka, what did you do for fun today?
I just completely cracked up at my new title. There's so many fun moments today, but I'm just going to say that was super fun. You guys were all right here for it. And so, Monique, what did you do for fun today?
This morning, I actually did laughter yoga. Ooh. I have a group of people. We meet in the mornings. It's our soul activation time. And we do different exercises to just start our day well. And today we were led in laughter yoga. Just 2 minutes of laughing for no freaking reason. Which, Moneeka, you tend to just live anyway.
Yes.
So that's what I did for fun. And then we just had an incredible interview with the beautiful Linda Shively, who you're going to get to hear from in a second. You want to introduce her, Moneeka?
Sure. What's really interesting also is Linda was the person that introduced me to laughter yoga. She was the very first person that I got to follow doing that. So she's also a facilitator of that and does a great job with it. But she is a very close friend of mine, a very dear friend of mine, and someone that I am proud to say is one of my mentors. And she's also a best-selling author, award-winning speaker, and mindset expert. Linda Shively works with organizations and leaders who want to successfully navigate change by learning how to leverage joy as a strategic advantage.
Amazing. Enjoy the podcast. You're going to love this conversation, y'all.
Hey there, Linda. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Moneeka. It's great to be here to talk about joy.
Yeah, our favorite topic, right? So, Linda, you have the most amazing story about joy. Could you kind of share your journey with us?
So, back in December 2005, I had to make a really tough decision. I had to figure out how to escape an abusive marriage with my severely handicapped 3-year-old daughter, Jessica. And Jessica, bright-eyed, happy little girl, loved to read books and play with her friends at preschool and zoom around in her power chair because she had spinal muscular atrophy, which is a progressive neuromuscular disease. And in the strength of her little index finger, she could power around in her chair, letting people know what she wanted by moving her eyebrows and expressing herself very adamantly, and loved stickers. My marriage, on the other hand, always kept me on high alert, and it was like I was walking on eggshells. I never knew when he was going to get really upset, and it just wasn't a healthy environment. On a Tuesday afternoon, after I brought Jessica home from preschool, I looked at her nurse and I said, you pack up all of her medical equipment. I'm going to pack her clothes and her toys. And as soon as she wakes up, we're going to escape. And there was a flurry of activity. As soon as Jessica woke up, we left. Exactly 2 weeks later, 2 days after Christmas, I was sitting at the foot of her bed in the pediatric intensive care unit. And the head of pediatric intensive care had come in on his day off. He should have been skiing in Vail, and instead he was there with me. And he said, she's not going to make it. And I said, what do you mean? Just everything is shutting down. Do I have to tell you to pull the plug? Do I have to tell you to kill my daughter? And just at that moment, all the alarms go off. Beep, 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 code blue, code blue. Everybody comes rushing in, ready to revive her. And the doctor just waved his hand. And everybody just stopped. And we all stood surrounding her bed as her life started to fade. I picked up Jessica one last time, and I could still feel that life in her, just for a little while. And then it was gone. And I could have stayed stuck in that really dark, horrible place for a very long time. Yet I remembered what my friend Maria had told me when Jessica was first diagnosed at 3 months. And she said, it doesn't matter what happens to you. It matters what you do about it, how you respond to it. And I thought about that. I'm like, I don't want to live in pain and grief and sadness. Her joy is still a part of me. And it took a while to fully get back into a place where I could claim it. And now I'm able to help other people. And I don't want it to make it sound like it's this magic pill that you take. It took a lot of work to get back to that place, a lot of coaching and counseling and personal development work. And through that, I see that that joy is still a part of me. And it can be a part of anything. And when I talk about joy, I often say true joy. And what I mean by that, it's not just like plaster on a smile and everything is wonderful. It's that joy that underlies everything. And that is what I believe it can coexist with all the other aspects of life.
I love that. Wow, what a powerful story. That joy that underlies everything, that's kind of how I think about bliss. But what does having a blissful life mean to you, like in real everyday terms?
I think joy and bliss to me are very similar. I know Moneeka has her way of talking about bliss, and I talk about joy. And it's that essence of noticing what is working, paying attention to those good things, those positive elements, because we all live life. Life does not always go the way we expect it to. And sometimes it's painful. And what can we find within that? And it may not be in that moment, but eventually that is good, is joyful, is that we can be grateful for. And I think that is what I refer to as a joyful life, and could be also called a blissful life, because I make an intentional point of finding something of joy in every day.
And you do an amazing job at it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So for me, Linda, the definition of bliss and sort of this idea of bliss has changed, right? It changes in the phases of our life and through our life experience. Can you talk to me a little bit about how it's changed for you? And you can talk about bliss or joy, because you're right, they're very related in the way that we speak about them. But how has that changed for you, or matured or evolved through your life experience?
I would say early in my life, I wasn't really consciously aware of it. I would just do something, I'd have fun, I'd enjoy life, but I wasn't paying attention to it and naming it as joy or bliss or happiness. It just was part of how I was being. And since Jessica's death, I think I've been much more intentional around it, and especially in the last few years, really focusing on what does that mean? How do I define it? And how can I share it with other people, whether it's in their personal life, in their professional life, working with organizations, talking to individuals. It matters, because if we don't have that, if there's no spark in our lives, whatever you want to call that, whether it's the play, the bliss, the joy, the fun, it's flat and boring. And something I learned a long time ago is, because those of us who do experience something very hard or negative or challenging have the opportunity to experience the highs. And if we don't have the lows, we don't appreciate the highs as much.
In your story, there was so much courage, right? So first, it took so much courage to leave that marriage that is abusive. And then after Jessica died, to reach for joy. And it sounds like it's a daily practice that you have around joy. So what we call blissciplines here. You have a blisscipline around joy. I have a blisscipline around fun. How did you find the courage, or how do you find the courage to reach for that? Because I can imagine that there's a lot of people, there can be a lot of talk, like, I shouldn't feel joyful when my daughter died. I shouldn't feel joyful about, like, there's almost like, is that okay for me to feel good, for me to feel joy, for me to reach for fun and bliss in this context? Personally, I know Moneeka and I believe that it's crucial.
First, I'm going to say yes, it is okay.
What did you have to say to yourself, and how do you talk to other people who might be critical of that?
I find if somebody is critical of that, that's okay. I don't need to change their mind. I can offer an opportunity to them to experience something fun or joyful. And it's up to them to choose that. Because I'll share a story. I've led laughter yoga as kind of a fun project, or sometimes I'll do it as part of my retreats. And the first time I led it at a national conference for bereaved parents, my friend who was with me said, "Well, I'm going to come, but I'm not going to laugh." I said, "Okay. Join us." And at the end, she's like, "I don't know how you do it. I laughed for 45 minutes straight. I haven't laughed in 7 years." And it's providing that opportunity. I can't make somebody be happy. Nobody can. I mean, sometimes, oh my goodness, I wish I had a magic wand and could just say, boop. Actually, I do have a magic wand. But it doesn't work to make somebody else happy. And if I had it...
We love magic wands and tiaras.
I got this from a dear friend after she passed away, and I was like, okay, I need this because her joy will continue with me. And having the joy, you can't make somebody else be happy. It's not possible. We wish we could, because it's like, oh, we see our sad friend or our sad family member and we just want to make them happy. You can't. Can you do things to model it? Yes. Can you take care of yourself? Yes. And so that's what I talk a lot about, is how do you bring happiness and joy into your own life? And what do you do to continue that? Because the only person you can control is yourself. The only emotions that you have any chance of doing anything about are your own. And as much as it would be nice to change somebody else, it just doesn't work.
There's also a transition in changing ourselves, right? I went through some trauma and made some decisions about I want to have a blissful life, right? And of course, it's a journey, right, to get there. And for you, obviously, there was a journey too. But one of the things, Linda, that I know about you is you really do love having fun. It's not just the laughter yoga. It's like life is just fun, right? And Monique is this way too, which is part of why I love hanging out with both of you guys. But Linda, talk to me a little bit about that transition, right? You didn't just make a decision and then go towards it. There were some things that needed to happen inside of you to choose fun, to decide, okay, I'm going to allow this for myself now and actually move towards it, right?
And I will say it's a continual journey, because there are days, even though I talk about joy, that I'm not feeling so joyful. And it's that constant reminder of how do I bring that joy and that into my life. And even just about a year and a half ago, I made a decision that I love to dance. And I looked at my life and I was like, I'm not dancing anywhere. But I love to dance. And that, if somebody asked me what I love to do, that would be one of my top activities. I'm like, this needs to change. And so since then, every week when I'm in town, I go dancing. And it's so much fun. And was I good when I started? No. Am I getting better? Yes. Do I have a long way to go? Of course. But it's a lot of fun. And things like that. It's what can I do? How do I approach it? And even taking simple actions. Like, I live in a place where I'm just blessed that I can go for a walk in about 10 minutes and get to the water. And I just enjoy watching the birds, hearing the waves, seeing the clouds, watching the sunset. And that may not be like the play, but it's fun and it's joyful and it gets me grounded. And so I've intentionally looked for ways to do that and to stay connected to the people that matter to me and be able to really have that in my life.
What has surprised you about letting fun matter more, having more joy in your life and doing that daily? What surprised you?
What has surprised me? Things work a lot better when I'm in a joyful mood. It's incredible, the difference. And when you're not, and believe me, I've had these moments where I just can't get myself out of it. And things are hard. They don't work. It's frustrating. And then that little reminder goes off, oh, when was the last time I did something fun? And it's like, maybe I need to do that. Maybe I just need to play and be silly. And so I'll find a way to do that, or get near young children that are just have this effervescence that somehow we lose as soon as we get past, I don't know, teenage years, or the angst hits, and we're like, oh, we have to be cool. We can't be silly anymore. We have to grow up, and then adulthood happens. It's like, no, sometimes we just need to play. So.
Linda, you've talked about some of the things that you do, but do you have any specific rituals towards joy, fun, bliss that you do that keeps things flowing better and lightens things up for you and that sort of thing?
Well, one ritual I do daily is a meditation, and the meditation varies from day to day. Taking that time to get centered and grounded before the day begins is something that really helps. And so I would say that is a consistent piece of my life. The other things may vary from day to day as far as what I do. I also practice gratitude. Sometimes I used to be very diligent about writing in a gratitude journal every day. I have not done that daily, but I do it regularly. And knowing the research behind gratitude of just writing 5 things down, or even I think 3, over a week makes you happier 6 months later than people that didn't do it. It's like, why not? And when I first started writing in my gratitude journal, the entries were something like, I'm grateful the day is over. I'm grateful I have a roof over my head. I mean, I was like trying to find anything to be grateful for. And now it will be a lot lighter in what I'm grateful for. And it varies dramatically. Those are a couple pieces that are tangible, and movement of some sort. Going for a walk, doing some exercise, all of those things. Just, not just sitting in our chairs all day, every day to do nothing, staring at a screen. To get out in nature is so much fun for me.
How does this fun change the way you show up in your work or relationships?
Well, like I kind of mentioned, when I'm not having fun, everything is just hard. And it just doesn't work, and nothing seems to go well, and technology doesn't cooperate, people don't call back. I mean, it's just like nothing works. And when I'm having fun and more joyful, it's so much easier. And if things don't work, it doesn't bother me as much. That's the biggest thing. That's one way it can kind of rub off on other people.
Linda, when you're so much of what people hear when they hear us talk is you need to add this into your life, right? You need a little more time for this, and you need and it doesn't have to be that way, right? Monique does a really good job about talking about the 30-second fun injection into your life, right? So there's lots of different ways that we can do it, but also I think it's really good to eliminate stuff from our life. What have you eliminated that has made a big impact in the joy in your life?
This is a growing edge, but one of the things that I'm eliminating is complaining. Now, does that mean I never complain? No, but my goal is to not complain, because the complaining steals the joy, because then you're just focusing on the negativity. So, and it's a stretch. So I'm constantly working on it. And when I catch myself, it's like, okay, reset, move forward, try it again. And, the other piece that I'm eliminating, and again, growing edge, I'm human, is the self-criticism, because that doesn't help with being joyful.
I love that you just reminded us about the term growing edge. I had forgotten that one, and it's so good because so much of the time we just kind of beat ourselves up because we're not doing it all right? But all of this is just about growth and getting just a little incrementally better, right?
Yeah. It's not to say on day 1 you must do all of these things or it's never going to be good. No. And what I talk about, I went for a walk with one of my neighbors after his wife had died, and they had a practice when they would go for walks of looking at the plants, looking at whatever the clouds, and they would notice it and pick what was the best thing that they saw on each walk. And they're like, ooh, that's in for it. That's looking like the best one. And oh no, that's even better. So it doesn't have to be separate from something you're already doing. And I think of gratitude in kind of the same way. It's like as you're going through your day, the more you practice gratitude, the more around you start to notice that you are grateful for. And it's just part of your day. It doesn't have to be this chunk of time that you take out of something else. And I believe it was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. who said that if he had a stressful day coming up, then he needed to meditate longer. So if he was going to meditate for an hour, then he'd meditate for 2 hours, and everybody was like, no, we need you to do whatever it is. It's like, nope. So sometimes taking the time to do these practices is what actually helps.
I want to ask you about your work. What pulled you into the work that you're doing now, and what still lights you up about it?
I've always loved to help other people get better. And when I say get better, I don't mean that anybody's broken or wrong, but just to continue to grow, like what we were just talking about with the growing edge. And that at some point I recognized that not everybody likes to speak, and that I actually enjoy it thoroughly. I was like, okay, maybe there's something here. And that's what inspired me to be a speaker. And as far as the coaching part, I just light up when I see that light go on in somebody else. And when it clicks for them and they're able to handle situations that if they'd happened before, they wouldn't have been able to navigate well. And even, some of my clients, when they are handling a situation, they come to me for one thing, figure out how to navigate that. And then, of course, life happens and something else happens. But that next challenge is so much easier because they've worked with me. And I got a text from somebody this week who was like, I am just so grateful that I'm working with you. I would be writing all night, but I don't have time, but I just want to say thank you. And, so I know that I'm making a difference in people's lives.
So if someone gets stuck, right? Because they're learning and they're in their growing age and growing edge, and they get stuck, what helps to soften that? What do you recommend in those situations?
Sometimes it's just recognizing that you are where you are and being okay with it, because life can be hard and life can be challenging, and it's okay to have whatever feeling or emotion you're having. When you recognize that maybe you're spinning in circles or not actually making the progress that you want, then figure out what may be in the way of that. And that's one of the things that I just love doing, is being able to have a conversation with somebody and hone in on what really is going on. Because so often we focus on the superficial level of a problem. And, it's like the gardener that comes with the weed whacker and they whack all the weeds and then they grow back, as opposed to the ones that pull them out from the root and then they're gone. And so I like to do that kind of work, is let's address the root of it. And if you haven't figured out what the root is, then work with somebody that can help you identify that, and so you can shift it. Because sometimes we stay in a problem, and sometimes the answer to the problem is not in the problem. You have to get out of it. And so looking at it from a different perspective. So maybe what would you advise somebody else in that situation to do? Because it's so much easier to help somebody else, right? So if you find yourself caught in a wheel, what would you tell somebody else that's caught in that?
Yeah. When I was going to ask, what do you personally do to return to yourself, to your joyous self, when you've lost your sense of joy? Maybe you've answered that, but what are your strategies for returning to joy?
Climbing out
Well,
of that paper bag.
yeah, getting out of the paper bag. Well, when I realize it's a paper bag, sometimes I can just lift it off. But that's too idealistic. The recognition, sometimes I will, like I said, meditate, and sometimes just stepping away and getting some exercise, going out for a walk. Inevitably, no matter how I'm feeling, if I go out for a walk, I feel better. And so that's one of my default joy boosters. And as far as the challenge, it depends on what it is and what's going on. Sometimes I'll seek guidance from someone else, and sometimes I'll just hone in on my own inner knowing of what really do I need to do and focus on.
What do you think is your superpower, Linda? I have an idea of what I think it is, but
Well, I'd love to hear your idea. But
you got to go first.
I know. What I think my superpower is being able to really see someone in a way that they may not be able to see it for themselves.
And I would add to that, and never judge, like see them with love. I think that's your superpower.
Yeah. I guess I forget that because I just see everybody. Yeah, I just do it. And yeah, thank you for that.
So Linda is one of my favorite mentors. She's my go-to person. When I'm having something really rough, I'm really stuck, I'm in the bag, I can't see my way out, Linda's a person that I go to. And I have my own craziness, like we all do, right? And I never, ever feel judged. And I just really appreciate that. And I appreciate your skill in bringing people out back to themselves and to their joy. I think this is actually an interesting topic, and I'd love both of you to join in, is part of community. So we're starting the Fun and Bliss Collective. Part of what's so important about that is just having other people that are on the same wavelength as you. You know, have been a bliss coach for so many years. And one of the things that's really hard for me is to find somebody who really gets where I'm coming from and can coach me to the place that I want to be, right? Around bliss and joy and fun, and not judge me around the fact that fun is my highest priority, right? So in community, like within the Fun and Bliss community, that's something that we get to offer each other. But as we need coaches, it's important to look for somebody that really gets that. And Linda is my coach that really gets that sort of perspective of really fun is the most important thing. Bliss and joy, those are the most important things. The rest of it is all consequential, right? So I just want to say I appreciate that about you, Linda.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I received that.
Next question for you. If our listeners were to try one tiny, meaningful experiment this week, something gentle and doable, what would you invite them to try?
I would invite them to, in whatever moment they're listening, like right now, find something that you're grateful for. Right in this moment. Don't wait till the end of the podcast and then figure it out. Just right now, what are you grateful for? And it doesn't have to be huge. It could be that you see blue sky, or that you see a flower outside, or that you are inside and dry and warm, or that you have some flowing water in wherever you are. You have electricity so that you have power so you can listen to this. Whatever it is.
How about you? What are you grateful for right now?
I am grateful to have this conversation with two amazing women who love play and bliss. I mean, how awesome is that? Fun and bliss. I mean, wow. What more could I ask for?
Joy?
Yeah, joy. That's
Love that. Well, shall we move into the Fun and Bliss laser round, Monique? What do you think?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, so let's start with, actually, Monique, you asked the first question because this is really your question.
All right. What's your go-to song when you need an instant joy boost? You said you'd love to dance, so what's that song?
Well, I don't necessarily, well, yeah, I dance to it too. It is Best Day of My Life
Okay.
by
By
Imagine
who? Because
Dragons.
there's a couple.
Imagine Dragons.
Imagine Dragons. Okay. Nice.
Awesome. And what's one silly thing that you do that never fails to make you laugh, that gives you a joy boost?
Laughing. I mean, literally just laughing about nothing.
Laughter yoga.
Yeah, exactly.
Finish this sentence. Bliss for me looks like.
Bliss for me looks like life is going the way I want it to.
Linda, can you tell everybody how they can reach you?
You can reach me at my website, lindashively.com, and a great way to get a taste of some of what I do is you can have my book at gettingtojoy.com, and I'll just gift that to you. So
That was such a fun conversation. Thank you for being here.
I'm grateful to be here. I always love talking about joy.
You
And you
do
bring
that.
joy into the room. Absolutely, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope that everyone really, because one of the most important things I heard was that even when, and especially when really challenging, really sad, or like tragic things happen to us, there's a real power in reaching for joy. You know, to get you through that. That was such a beautiful how you share what you shared was so beautiful. What do you think that did for you, or that helped you deal with the grief?
For me, being able to share about my daughter, to share about Jessica, is a way for her memory to stay alive. And that's something I encourage other people to do if whatever is going on happens to be a death of a loved one. Talk about them, share about them. Now, I know everybody handles it differently, but that to me has been very helpful. And for the people I know who do talk about their loved ones, it seems to be very healing for them.
Yeah. But not just talking about your loved ones, I'm being specifically reaching for joy.
Well, specifically reaching for joy, I think it's the recognition that it's already within me and that I don't have to reach for it. For a long time, I didn't always see that it was there, and knowing that it actually is, and it's there for everybody.
Well, thank you so much again for this incredible conversation.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us, Linda. It's always so awesome to hang out. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Wow, that was such an incredible conversation,
I
isn't it?
know. It was. I love Linda. She always brings so much insight and wisdom to a conversation. Every time I spend time with her, I learn more, you know?
What did you learn today?
I was just reminded of that sweet, beautiful energy that she brings to everything after everything she's been through. Like, I don't know that it's a specific thing, but just really being reminded that, we can choose bliss, we can choose joy, we can choose fun, no matter what. I mean, could you even imagine going through what she went through?
No. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. How about you? What was your biggest takeaway?
I think my biggest takeaway was the courage it takes to reach for joy in that kind of situation.
Yeah.
Because I hear so much people are like, yeah, well, it's fine for you to reach for fun every day, but like I've got a lot of stuff going on. Things are really hard. Or it's like, how can you
focus on fun when the country seems to be falling apart or whatever it is, right? And that it's not okay to do that. And what I got is that when not only is it okay, it's so necessary, because if we don't reach for fun and joy, things just don't work well, right? Everything's so much harder, and we're not the people that we need to be. We're not up to the challenge of life the way we could be when we are in our joy and in our fun and in our bliss. Right?
Yeah.
And that's what I got.
Yeah. There are some circumstances that if we don't choose to reach for joy, that, we kind of either we become a walking dead, like we just die inside and live life that way, and some people don't even survive it. So it's a survival strategy. I mean, it's not just fun. It's a survival strategy. And that's really demonstrated by Linda, that's how she survived, and that's how she continues to have meaning in her life after all she's been through.
Yeah. It's how you thrive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that was a great show.
It was really, she's amazing. It was a great show.
Thanks to you all for being here with us. If that resonated with you, please, and if there's someone who you think needs to hear this message, maybe somebody who's going through a really hard time, somebody who's a bereaved parent, or somebody who was in an abusive relationship or is, somebody who going through anything but just needs to be reminded about joy, please share this episode with them. They will be so appreciative of that. And make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss more of the fun and bliss we've got for you here.
We want to see you with us every week.
We do. And even more, we want you in our collective so we can play. So join our playground and come have play dates with us.
Yeah. So you can learn more at funandbliss.com. We're going to be talking, you can find everything there. So, but definitely subscribe and join us.
We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you for tuning in to the Fun and Bliss Show,
where fun is our practice
and bliss is our lifestyle.
If this episode sparked your joy,
share it, subscribe, and join the movement.
Stay fun,
stay blissful,
and see you next time.